Good morning to anyone and everyone watching us this afternoon, this week on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you're gathering with us and listening to our message. All of you are part of our spiritual community that believes in the power of thought, the power of love, and the infinite possibilities available to each and every one of us. Available to us when we align with truth. First Church of Religious Science is a historic center for New Thought teachings. Our founder, Dr. Raymond Charles Barker, was a pioneer in sharing these wonderful and powerful principles. And among our esteemed practitioners was the legendary Louise, whose work in self-healing and affirmations continue to impact millions of people. Today, we stand on this foundation, bringing these teachings into the modern world, making them accessible, practical, and deeply transformational. Our weekly gatherings are here for you, free of charge. We meet again 3 times a week, and we invite you to join us on any of our spiritual get-togethers. Sunday morning today is our time for deep reflection, inspiration, transformation. Every week, we explore powerful spiritual principles, again, to uplift and empower you. Wednesday evening, we have a creative living class at 7 p.m., led by our practitioner, James. This class will take New Thought principles and give you suggestions how to apply them to your everyday life. Thursday evening is probably the oldest running self-healing class in the country. It's our Louise Hay class, our self-healing class, based upon the book You Can Heal Your Life. It focuses on self-love, personal transformation, and embracing the healing power within. All of our gatherings are designed to support you, inspire you, and help you awaken to the limitless possibility within you. We invite you to support our community if you're able to. Everything we do is available to you as a love offering. There are support options in the chat. We deeply appreciate anything anyone does. Your continued support allows us to do the work we do. But the main thing is that you're here, and your presence is the greatest gift. There's no obligation ever to give or support us. We're just glad you're here. If you do choose to support us, you're simply helping us expand this message and our outreach to touch lives in ways that you may never fully realize. So let's get into today's lesson. Today's lesson is entitled A Place for Us. It's inspired, the name of the lesson was inspired by a breathtaking passage from Ernest Holmes. In it, Ernest gives us a profound key, a call to stay unwavering in our faith. Even in the most challenging moments, there is a place for us, not in some distant future, but and not in some external circumstance, but there's a place for us right here, right now. There's a place for us when we live in alignment with truth. So we're going to explore this powerful idea, breaking it down into something deeply accessible, practical, transformational. By the end of today's lesson, my hope is that you will leave with a renewed sense of strength, clarity, and the deep knowing that you are never, never outside of the infinite good that's always available. So let's begin. You might recall from West Side the lyrics to a song, "There is a place for us, somewhere, a place for us." I heard that song so many years ago. Back then I thought it was simply a love song, a beautiful one, about 2 people searching for a place where they could be together, where the world wouldn't tear them apart. But now I think of those lyrics differently, because as we go through life, we start to understand something. Life is not about holding on to things. Rather, it's a series of things we must learn to let go of. We lose people. We lose old dreams. We let go of old versions of ourselves. Versions that we thought we would always be. And sometimes it feels like life is taking more than it's giving us. There seems to be a collective ache right now all over the world, and I don't have to tell you about it. These are not easy times for most people. People are waking up all over the place to uncertainty like they've probably never felt before. The world is shifting and whirling so fast it feels like the ground beneath our feet is moving. Everything is changing. Now, I'll tell you, parenthetically, it always has been changing, but it seems like it's doing so in warp speed right now. The economy is changing. The way we work is changing. Technology is advancing faster than anyone could ever imagine. Now, I remember speaking about this phenomenon at different times over the past decade or so, how the information, the knowledge was doubling every few days. And people really couldn't wrap their heads around that, but it's true. It's beyond anything that anyone could really digest. Many people are feeling lost. They're asking questions like, where am I going to be? Where's my place in all of this? What about my children and my grandchildren? And will I be okay? And will my family be okay? And how do I find peace when I don't know what's coming next? Now, not everybody feels this way. Some of you are doing quite well with change. There's always a few, very few, who already know the answer. I call these people modern day mystics. These are people who trust really the process of life. They completely trust in it. They're the ones who live this teaching, no matter what. Good times or bad. They know that all is well. They don't wait for things to change before they step into faith. They stay anchored in truth, even when the world shakes. But for most people, this isn't easy. For most people, faith wavers when pressure rises. That's what today's message is. That's why today's message is so important. Because Ernest Holmes, our founder, tells us there is a place, but it's not a place that we can locate, and not a place we can find. It's a state of consciousness. It's a place that we step into spiritually. A place Ernest Holmes speaks of where there is unshakable trust, a place of absolute certainty, even in the most uncertain times. A place where no matter what is happening in the world, you know that you are safe. You know that you're held. You know that you are unshaken. And here's the part that might surprise you. Ernest Holmes tells us that the best time to step into this place is not when things are easy, but when things are at their worst. That doesn't sound right, does it? We think I'll work on my faith when things start getting better, or we'll work on our faith. We'll work on our faith when all is well, or you'll say I'll trust once I see a sign, or I'll believe once something shifts. But Holmes tells us, Holmes really turns that completely around when he says, the moment when everything looks impossible is the most powerful moment for spiritual work. The moment when you feel the most lost is the moment you are closest to being found. Because what if the world isn't falling apart? What if you come to realize the world is evolving? And what if you aren't losing your place in it? You are simply being invited into something greater than what you could have imagined. Today, we're going to unpack a truth so powerful that it could change your life. Not someday, not when things get better, something that could change your life right now. Because there is a place for you, and today you're going to learn how to enter it. Are you ready? I'm sure you are. When I first came into this teaching, I kept running into one word everywhere. I remember my classes. The word was oneness. It was everywhere. It was in every discussion. It was in every book, every class, every lecture. All of my fellow students were talking about this one power, this one presence, and the idea that there is only one. And they would say, stay with the one. And honestly, I didn't fully appreciate it at the time. Because like many of you, I wasn't raised in that understanding that there's one energy, one power, one life. I grew up in a world where God was separate. As I recall, God was above. There was a God, and then there was me, right? There was a heaven, and then there was earth. There was good, and then there was bad. And I was always being told I had to earn my way to get there. I had to earn my way back to God. I had to learn how to be good enough. I had to prove myself worthy. No matter how I tried, there was always something wrong with me in those days. I was taught to believe that God was watching, and if I messed up, it was definitely he in those days, was disappointed in me. And if I messed up too much, he might even punish me. So when I heard this in this teaching about oneness, one power, one energy, one love, I didn't fully get it. I didn't fully know what to do with it. I wasn't sure if I could trust it. It felt too simplistic, too good, too freeing, actually. But then, little by little, as I attended classes like this, I began to understand that there is, in fact, only one energy, one presence, one power, one life, not a force of good fighting evil, not a God up in the sky, separate from all of us, but there's one energy, one infinite intelligence, one love, again, one energy expressing itself everywhere in everything, including in me. And then I started realizing it's responding to me and all of us. And here's what changed everything for me. When I began to realize that there is never an absence. There's never an absence of love. Never, never. There's never an absence of peace. There's never an absence of God. And I wasn't separate. I wasn't a sinner. I wasn't broken. I wasn't needing to be fixed. I lived in this energy. I moved in it, and I had my being in it. And even more breathtaking, this presence responds to me, and it responds to each and every one of us. That's when I realized I didn't need to beg. I didn't need to bargain. I didn't need to fear. I only needed to trust. Because if there is only one, then what does that mean? It means, if there's only one, that means that there's nothing against me. It means that I'm not being tested. I'm not being punished. It means that I don't have to prove my worth. I don't need to do anything. I'm already here. I already belong. I'm centered in it. The only thing that can separate me from peace, the only thing that can separate me from joy and from my own good is me. The second I forget that I'm already in the one, then I step into fear. The second I stop trusting, I fall into doubt. The second that I look to the outside world for my answers, then I truly feel lost. And this is exactly what Ernest Holmes is warning us about. So now I understand what he meant, and what many of you understand also. When Holmes says, stay with the one and never deviate from it. Stay with this one power and never deviate from it. Never leave it for a moment. Again, it's powerful. He said, stay with the one and never deviate from it. Never leave it for a second. Now we know what he meant. Now we know what he means. He was suggesting, and I'm suggesting, that we stay in the awareness that there is only one presence. No matter what appearances happen, or no matter what the appearances might say, never, never allow fear to trick you into believing that you are separate. Never allow fear to let you think you're separate from this good. So I'm suggesting you refuse to let the circumstances of your life pull you out of your knowing. Because the second we go there, you know what happens. The second we slip into fear, we panic. We start looking at the world around us and we start thinking, oh my God, all this mess is real, all this awful stuff. Look at what's happening to me. Again, Holmes is telling us, no. Stay anchored in the truth, no matter what. There was a part of the textbook that I remember which told us that we don't want to desert the truth in our hour of need. It was bold. It's where Dr. Holmes said, to desert the truth in the hour of our need is to prove that we do not know the truth. That's a tough one, isn't it? Because we've all had moments where we have doubted. We've all had moments where fear took over. Does that mean that we don't know the truth? No. It means that we haven't yet fully embodied the truth. There's a difference between knowing something intellectually and then living it as a reality. If we trust the divine only when things are good, what do we really trust? Some of us like the idea of trusting. I mean, that's different. When things look the worst is the best time to do the work. Now, here's where Holmes completely shifts our thinking. When things look the worst is the best time to do the work. It's the most satisfying time. Wait, what is that again? The best time to do the work on our faith is when everything is falling apart. Is that what he was asking? It was. That's the opposite of how most people think, though. Usually people work on their faith when things are already improving. We have a tendency to affirm things when we see signs of change. We tend to meditate when we feel good. But Ernest Holmes is saying, and I believe suggesting, the worst moment is the most powerful moment. The darkest hour is the moment of transformation. The chaos is not the problem. Chaos is the portal where everything begins to shift. So let's bring this home and make it real. Think about someone who faced the absolute worst and still held on to their faith. And I did that as I was preparing my notes. Helen Keller always comes to mind because as I've read about her time and time again, she was blind, she was deaf, and yet she changed the world during her lifetime. Another was Viktor Frankl, who you might recall survived the Holocaust, and he found meaning in suffering. Our own Louise Hay was told she had cancer, but she chose to believe in healing even when the doctors told her about all the things that were going on with her. None of these people waited for things to improve before they trusted. They trusted first, and that's what changed everything. Dr. Holmes gave us a very powerful image to consider when he said, the person who throws themselves into the limitless sea of receptivity is the person who will always receive the greatest good. Again, the person who throws themselves into this limitless sea of receptivity is the person who's always going to receive the greatest good. What does that mean? Well, that's what I'm going to explore next with his powerful statement. I'm saying the same thing. The person who can throw themselves with complete abandon into the limitless sea of receptivity, having cut loose from all apparent moorings, is the one who will always receive the greatest reward, because it's a moment of decision. You're going to find yourself standing at the edge of something vast. It's a turning point, a moment that can change everything. And here we are right now, this Sunday, being asked to do something radical. Same thing Dr. Holmes was talking about. He was asking, and I'm asking you to let go of everything you thought that's been keeping you safe and consider surrendering to something greater. So let's look at that statement just a little bit. What is this limitless sea of receptivity? First, imagine it. This limitless sea of receptivity. Holmes is telling us there is a vast ocean, limitless. This ocean is spirit itself. It is the infinite. It's the divine, the source of everything. And you are standing at the edge. The water's deep, endless, abundant. It holds everything you need. It holds love, peace, healing, supply, joy, wisdom. And right now, the universe is calling you forward. But here's the thing. You can't wade in cautiously and expect to receive. You can't dip in one toe and hope for miracles. Holmes is saying you have to throw yourself in with complete abandon. So here we are today at this turning point. Some of us have been standing here at the edge for a long time, holding on with our old fears, trying to control how things unfold, playing it safe just in case. And now you're being asked once more to make a choice, to stay on the shore or to cut loose and trust the infinite. Because here's the truth. Spirit cannot give you everything you desire where you're still clinging to the dock. The universe cannot carry you forward while you're holding on tight to what is safe. And Holmes gives us that dramatic statement again: cut loose from all apparent moorings. A mooring is what keeps the boat tied to the shore. And right now, many of us are moored to something we think is safe, but obviously isn't. Maybe we're moored to a job we hate because we're scared of uncertainty. Or maybe we're moored to a relationship that's run its course because we're afraid to be alone. Maybe we're moored to a limited way of thinking because stepping into something greater feels risky. But here's what we must realize. What we think is keeping us safe is actually keeping us stuck. So there's a call for a leap of faith, of absolute trust. Here's the question: are you ready to jump? Because something amazing happens when you do. The moment you finally realize, the moment you stop holding back onto fear, the moment you let go of controlling how everything unfolds, you don't sink, you don't drown. The moment you do all that, you find that you're carried. You find that you will float and rise. Because this limitless sea is not a place of danger. It's a place of absolute support. The universe has always had your back. It has your back now. Think of the times in your life where you finally let go and something really wonderful happened. Maybe you stopped obsessing over money and suddenly there's an opportunity appeared out of nowhere. Maybe you let go of a relationship at long last that wasn't serving you and you found the love of your life. Maybe you released the fear around a big decision and then everything fell into place. That's what happens when we jump. Spirit can only fill our hands when we're willing to release the grip. This is how the greatest rewards come. Holmes will tell us the person who can throw him or herself with complete abandon into that limitless sea of receptivity is the person who's always going to receive the greatest reward. Not the person who plays safe, not the person who holds on just in case, not the person who trusts only when things look good, but the one who says, I trust this presence with everything. And when we do, when we finally jump, we discover what was waiting for us all along. So here's the question. How do we do this? How do we step into this place? How do we step in real life when things feel shaky? How do we move from fear to trust? So that's what we're going to experience next. Right now, we're going to enter this place. So get ready. I'm going to take you in a very quick process. Let's take a moment where we actually step into this limitless sea and feel what it's like to be supplied, supported, and carried. So take a pause wherever you are right now, wherever you are in your room, just quiet yourself and take a deep breath and release. Again, in and out, let it go. Feel yourself becoming present. For the next moment or two, you don't have to worry about anything. You don't have to figure anything out. This is your time to receive. Imagine standing at the edge of something vast. You are at the shore of the limitless sea of possibility, of receptivity. This is spirit itself, infinite, eternal, boundless. It's holding everything you need: love, wisdom, healing, supply, guidance. Everything is already here, and the universe is calling you forward. But as you stand here, you notice something. There is part of you holding back. Maybe it's fear, maybe it's doubt. Maybe it's the voice in your mind that says, what if I sink? What if I let go and nothing catches me? Take a moment to notice what's holding you back. Not to judge it, just to recognize it. And now something shifts. You hear a voice, not outside of you, but within. A voice that is calm, certain. A voice that says, my beloved, you are already held. You're already safe. I have you. I have always had you. And in this moment, you realize something powerful. You were never meant to stay tied to the shore. You were meant to float. You were meant to rise, to be carried. So let's take a moment right now and let go of what has been holding you back. Perhaps it's a situation. Maybe it's a thought. Maybe it's an old fear you've been carrying for years. Whatever it is, see yourself untying it, releasing your grip, cutting the rope, and suddenly you feel lighter, and now you realize something. The ones who receive the greatest rewards are not the ones who play it safe. The ones who hold on just in case. The ones who trust only when things look good. The ones who receive are those who say, I trust in this presence with everything. Because it's not the person who hesitates, it's the person who jumps. It's not the person who holds on out of fear, it is the person who lets go. It's not the person waiting for proof, it's the one who trusts first. And in this moment, you make the choice. You step forward, you take a breath, and you jump. And the moment you do, you don't sink, you don't fail. You are lifted. The sea catches you, it holds you, it carries you effortlessly. And suddenly, everything shifts. There is no more fear. There is only trust. There is only knowing. You are in the one. You are home. Feel yourself floating now, supported by the infinite. Let yourself receive. You don't have to fight anymore. You don't have to control. You're held. You're safe. Take a moment to simply be in this space. Feel it in your body. Feel the deep knowing that you are supported always. Now place your hand on your chest and say silently or aloud, I stay with the one. I never leave it. Even in this moment, everything's unfolding perfectly. And as you say this, feel the truth of it. Not just in your mind, but deep in your being. This is who you are. This is the truth that never changes. Take a final deep breath in and slowly release. And when you're ready, bring your awareness back to the room. You're here. You're present. You are in the one. So what we did was not imagination. It was a real shift in consciousness. You don't have to wait to be perfect. You don't have to wait for perfect circumstances to feel this presence. You don't have to earn this trust. You simply step into it. And the more you practice this, the more you will remember. You were never on your own. You were never separate. You were always held, and so it is. We've arrived now at the final moment of our journey. Before we turn the cameras to all of you, we're going to seal this experience so that what we've just experienced stays with us. This is a moment where we lock in our knowing. This is the moment where we step forward, not just in thought, but in certainty. Dr. Holmes had a final gift for us. So let's go back to his breathtaking words. The person who can throw himself or herself with complete abandon into the limitless sea of receptivity, having cut loose of all apparent moorings, is the person who will always receive the greatest reward. And here's the truth. We don't have to wait for some perfect moment to do this. We don't have to wait until we feel stronger, better, or more ready. The leap is always available. And the second we make it, the one carries us every time. So today, like every day, we make a choice. Not to dabble in faith, not to trust when things look good, but to live in the knowing that we already are held. And so it is. Let's close it with an affirmative prayer. I now recognize an infinite presence that's here now, not out there, not far away, but within me, operating through me as me. There is only one, and I stay with it. I don't waver. I don't wait for proof. I don't ask for a sign. I stand in the knowing that I'm already supported. I release fear because I am held. I release doubt because I am carried. I step fully into trust. I let go of the shore, and I allow the infinite to take me where I am meant to go. I am safe. I am guided. I am in the one, and so it is. So now we turn the cameras over to you. Please share what came up for you today, what resonated, what shifted, where you're feeling called to trust more deeply. We invite you to share not just your thoughts, but your experience. Because when we speak truth, we strengthen it in ourselves and in one another. So let's take this moment together. We have a moment or two for everyone here. Thank you for being with us.